So the new matchmaking update, is it good? That is a great question. The question of the hour. I would say yes. There's a lot to unpack. To some degree, matchmaking is always going to be a little bit mysterious because the devs are never going to give you exactly what they use, like the terms that they use to matchmake. And also as a player, I feel like I don't, I'm not the type of person that likes to claim that I know what perfect matchmaking looks like. But there's some cool elements to the patch that dropped last night, regardless of, what you think about the quality of games. But we'll refer to it as the matchmaking update. Ranked mode and standard mode. I don't care about standard mode personally, but it is a great place for people to play more troll builds, for people to kind of goof off, maybe play with their friends, try new heroes, try different stuff without having to try so hard. Or, maybe, I know there's a lot of casual gamers out there, cretins, we like to call them. And they're going to really enjoy the fact that not everybody is try-hard sweating in standard. As for the more competitive folks like me, I feel like having ranked mode separated from standard mode is obviously a great change. Anyway, no big surprise on having a ranked mode, but having it now to try it out, it is nice. And I will say, from my experience in the first couple of games that we played yesterday, it was pretty much immediately obvious that the people that were playing in the ranked mode cared more than a lot of people I was playing with before that. There's like way more, meaningful comms, way more trying hard, way more plan making. And so I noticed the difference right away, although it's hard to say. Maybe that's just because the patch dropped and people were really stoked and excited. So whatever. I would like to share my thoughts broadly and generally about the matchmaking updates. We're not going to touch on everything in the patch notes. I talked about a lot of this stuff yesterday. I gave like my initial reaction to a lot of this stuff yesterday. But I do want to give sort of my initial opinion and some thoughts that I had about the new update. The changing of the ranks and the icons, to me, that doesn't matter at all. Do they have more sauce? Do they have less sauce? It's hard to say. I am not the sauce boss, but I think they look cool, and it's all good. It's 11 ranks, so it's the same amount of ranks. Is 11 ranks like the right amount with 6 sub ranks? I don't know, but it's fine. I don't really see a problem with this. The big changes really that are interesting to me are the eligibility and seasons. Seasons, not so surprising. Every competitive game kind of does seasons where they split, ranked mode into seasons, and then they like soft reset and do placements every season. This is important for numerous reasons, but mainly because the meta changes, heroes change, maps change. Of course, there's going to be seasons. That's good. I'm a little bit concerned that we're getting introduced to seasons in the early access game, because I'm starting to think maybe this game is never going to leave early access, which is a little bit concerning. Some of the requirements, so to be eligible to queue for ranked, you have to have at least 60 wins on standard. I think that is quite a bit, actually. I think you could probably do less, but I'm not going to complain. I have, 3,000 games in, so 60 is nothing to me, but I can imagine when the game comes out, 60 games is going to be kind of a lot of games. Maybe it is good for newer players to get acquainted to the game. I would imagine this requirement might change before release, but for now it's good. Most of the people that have been playing this game over the last 2 years have 60 games anyway. It also only allows you to queue as heroes that you have won at least 15 games with in standard mode. To queue ranked, I should say. I think this is good. I think, again, this number maybe could be less. It's not a problem for me. I have like a bunch of heroes that I have played, but to some people, 15 wins excludes them from a lot of heroes. So I think the number could be less than that, but it's fine. I think it's good. The general idea behind this is good. It's healthy. It makes sure that people, actually practice the hero before they queue up in ranked, and you don't want people queuing in ranked like not knowing the hero they're on, and like hard throwing or soft throwing games. So this is fine. Calibration phase, this is all normal, who cares? Placing Oracle 6, there's a lot of like complaining on Twitter about, you know, Eternus players placing an Oracle and feeling like they're stuck with nobodies, but that's just not how soft MMR reset works. I'm really not worried about that at all. I think that's fine. I think having the top 3 ranks in the game be something you have to grind for is fine, even in this stage of early access. Ranked mode will only allow for solo or duo parties. This is good. I think I have seen in other games like Overwatch where, you know, players will 6-stack or 5-stack to basically manipulate the matchmaking and have really easy games and have like 75-80% win rates so they can get rank 1. I think this makes it the general matchmaking experience better for everybody, so that's good. Again, I'm not going to claim to know how this matchmaking system necessarily works on the back end, but generally this is a good thing for a competitive matchmaker. I like the change to rank points, so after every game you see your points go up and down. That's a good thing. I think the transparency of like, this is how much you get for winning, this is how much you get for losing, that's a good thing, instead of it being sort of superfluous where you don't really know like how far you are away from ranking up. This is very helpful for players to understand how many games they need to win. It makes it, you know, setting goals a little bit more manageable, and it psychologically just makes it easier to queue ranked when you know exactly how many points you have and you're not just guessing. So this is good. Rank loss protection is weird to me. I never really cared about that. I don't know if it serves a purpose in a competitive game other than being like a psychological trick to make you feel happy. Devs for games like this, generally, they want people to spend as much time in the game as possible, and there's a psychological element to that where like you don't want to feel like you're crashing and burning after you drop a rank, so you want to feel like there's a little bit of a chance to get your rank back. So it's like a psychological trick as far as I could tell to keep you playing and keep you queuing, which is fine, whatever, who cares. Here's the big thing we got to talk about. The big thing we got to talk about is the hero selection screen. Now this is interesting. This is the biggest change in my mind, what I've seen. Guys, don't pay attention to my rank. This is a fake ranked. I was buying egg. I was queuing random heroes. This is not real, dude. You should have seen the games. This is not real. Some of you guys saw the games. This is a fake ranked. It's gonna be fine, dude. Stop looking at it. I think probably the number one thing that I have an opinion on that I'm kind of interested in talking about is the hero selection screen. As opposed to doing a draft, the devs have chosen to do a hero selection screen. This, to me, at first my initial reaction was I didn't like it, okay? But after I thought about it and I played a few games, what I've discovered is that I actually like it as opposed to doing a draft. There are some things about it that are great, okay? The matchmaker is going to match you on heroes that you prefer to play, but sometimes it's not going to work out perfectly based on a bunch of factors, of course. And if you get put on a hero that you don't necessarily want to play, you have an opportunity to switch. And furthermore, more importantly, you have an opportunity to switch your characters on your team to, you know, counter comp your opponent and to build a better comp. So the matchmaker is never going to be perfect, you know, but it's going to generally be good. It's going to generally put you on heroes that you want to play, but you have the ability to swap your character. There's only a 30-second window in that pregame lobby. That is not a lot of time to make decisions. That is not a lot of time to mess around or even talk to your team. So it's a pretty quick decision that you have to make at the start of the game, as opposed to taking a lot of time and drafting your full roster back and forth and doing picks and bans. I actually think this system is really, really good for the average player. I'm not so sure. I mean, the jury's still out on whether or not this is going to be a good system for making the highest quality possible games. I feel like draft is probably the right choice to that end. There's some things that this hero selection screen gets right. Okay, you can only switch your hero one time, which is great, at least from my experience. And they might change this, but I think my main concern was like people are just going to counter comp each other back and forth and just troll swap heroes and then get stuck on a hero maybe they were kind of joking about playing or they didn't really want to play, and like it would actually just result in worse games getting launched at the 30-second mark. But because you can only swap once, you kind of have to make a decision, and the other team can't swap back or anything after you've made your decision. So I think generally what I've seen is that this has worked out fine, and I actually think it will continue to work out fine for the average player and the average game. This is actually a great solution to draft. I'm not so sure why they chose to go this route. I don't know how much of it is because they think this is maybe a more interesting method than just a normal snake draft, but it might also be because there's just not a lot of heroes in the game, so draft like maybe is a little arbitrary. Either way, my initial opinion is that I'd be happy with this staying in the game. Another big thing that I think people don't realize is that this is much faster than a traditional draft. Like, I've played games where you're drafting, and drafts can take a long time, okay? And you have to put, like, max timers. You have to give every player, like, a full 30 seconds or a full minute to pick their character. A draft for a 6v6 game could take multiple minutes, whereas this system, it's 30 seconds, and then you're in the game. No pausing, no nothing. So I think it favors quicker matchmaking, which is honestly going to make the average person a lot happier than sitting around, you know, for 10 minutes pre-match every single time they load into a competitive game. In general, I think this is a pretty positive patch. I think there's some good things here in the matchmaking update. The other thing that I love a lot, actually, about this matchmaking update is just this little cubby hole. I think this is great. I think this is fantastic. Don't look at that game. This is a fake rank. That's a fake game. But I love this chalkboard. I love this room. I love the menu being here. The same could be said for the rest of the hideout, of course. But this is fantastic. It looks awesome. I know it's probably going to change before release, but this is the kind of stuff that makes me super excited about Deadlock because it's so creative. We're not just clicking into a menu and doing a bunch of UI and clicking a bunch of little icons. We're actually like standing somewhere else. We're going somewhere else. This chalkboard is dynamic, which I think is very cool. It always shows your last game score. It shows your rank. It shows your shields, which I guess those shields... I'm pointing at my screen, guys. I'm pointing at my screen. And there's always different drawings and stuff. So this creatively is super, super cool. I just want to give a shout. I think a lot of people in the community are talking more about the actual matchmaking and the actual functionality of the systems, but I actually just think this is so sick. All in all, good job, Yoshi.